So good morning, everyone, dear participants. Hope all of you are doing well and staying safe. It's very difficult time, and it's wonderful to have you here to attend this lecture on CAD-based medical image analysis and applications. I think still from your side, one or two people have not muted. So I would request you if you can kindly mute yourself because some noise is coming. Thank you so much. So my sincere thanks to ACM chapter, student chapter, Christ University, Bangalore. And the sincere thanks to all the organizer who gave me the opportunity to connect with all of you to talk on a very important topic. The topic is CAD-based medical image analysis and applications. When especially during COVID-19 time, very tough and difficult time, people are talking much about automated diagnosis, fast diagnosis, health IoT and healthcare systems. So I think in that context, this topic becomes very relevant. This is the main theme of topic is medical image analysis. So when we talk about medical image analysis, it's basically an application of medical image processing. I'm just giving the outline of talk. So when we talk about medical image processing, it's nothing but a signal processing where signal is replaced by image, and that too medical image. So let's begin with the lecture. The main agenda will include CAD and medical image processing, post processing and challenges, because when we deliver some topic in webinar or when we talk on some some relevant or important topics like this, we must also try to highlight what are the major challenges and limitations, because the challenges and limitations are very important to understand in order to get a future research scope in that particular area. So therefore I will be also highlighting on what are the major challenges in this area. Then I will be also discussing as a third part of the presentation about important applications, very few important applications which are prominent applications of medical image analysis, or you can say medical image processing. So in this slide, you can see, I'm not just marketing about my book. This book titled as Medical Image Processing was published a long back, probably in 2013, it was published with Prentice of India. So this book gives a general overview or better, I would say, good understanding of what medical image processing is, what different medical image modalities are, how different medical image modalities are interpreted, and what different types of processings which are applied over different types of medical images, and finally what we call as the post processing used in computer aided diagnosis or automated diagnosis system. All these have been discussed in this book, I mean in very simple ways. So if you can find somewhere, you can just try to see that you can get some basics and overview of medical image processing. So let's begin with the lecture. So this is all about distinguished speaker program. I think the ACM has made me available for this lecture. ACM has connected me as one of the speaker for this program with the Christ University Bangalore. So we all must thank ACM. I am also ACM distinguished speaker. So the ACM distinguished speaker is a program through which I have been, I'm connecting with all of you. Thanks to ACM, thanks to distinguished speaker program. And let's move ahead finally with the topic. The first part of the topic is CAD, which is computer aided diagnosis and medical image processing. So when we want to begin what medical image processing is, we also need to understand very briefly about what digital image is and what do we mean by digital image processing. These days, almost everyone understands what digital image processing is, because digital image processing is used in almost all modern applications, right from robotics to driverless car, or you talk about any applications of your modern science and engineering. your smartphone, whatever you talk, today's advances, everywhere the digital image processing is used. So those who know about digital image processing, they very well understand what the digital image is. We see the entire world or anything outside the world, that thing, the object which we people see, our human eyes can see, is the natural world, is the natural image. Once that picture is stored inside the computer, it becomes digital image. So this picture, this diagram tells very important thing about how the picture, how a digital image is created, how a picture is created. So the phenomenon is very simple, and this is very important. Therefore, I am giving some time here. This is very, very important to understand how an image is created. You can see me, you can see my video or my image only because of some light is incident on my face, and some amount of light. When we go outside, there is a natural light source, sun god, and when we are inside, there is some artificial light, illumination source, that is incident on the object, here in this case my face. So when light is incident on some object, some amount of light is absorbed by the body. For example, if the complete part of light is absorbed by any object, you will not be able to see that object. And therefore, what do we see that? What do we treat that object as? A dark object. And therefore, it looks absolutely black because none of the signal or none of the light is reflected back. But what is important is the amount of light which is reflected back by the object is stored actually in the form of intensity or grayscale values. You can see in this slide in the form of matrix, in the form of number of rows and number of columns, where thousands of pixels are there, and each pixel has some grayscale value, that is intensity value, pixel value. Why I am emphasizing all these here is digital image processing, medical image processing, or any processing over any type of images. The images may be medical images, remotely sensed images, or any different types of images. Whatever processing happens, the processing happens only in the form of some manipulation of these pixel values. So when you want to perform, or when we perform any operation over an image, any type of operation, we always try to modify, we always try to manipulate something with the pixel values, that is intensity values. And therefore, it's very important to understand what the digital image is. And as far as the processing is concerned, this is what this diagram tells the picture about a digital image. This digital image is an image of, this is from our own database, 2018. One of my scholar got awarded his PhD in a topic, a very important topic, early detection of breast cancer. So with the help of a senior radiologist with Apollo, we could also develop a good database of mammograms, that is breast images. So this is one of the image. Otherwise, I will always cite the source from wherever I am using the image. So this is nothing but a digital image. You can see that image is represented as fxy, where x and y are spatial coordinates that tells the position of the pixel. When it is beginning 0 0, it means it's the topmost pixel, and then when it is 1 1 1 2 1 3 1 4, so it increases by number of rows and number of columns. So the digital image is nothing but a two-dimensional signal or function whose dimensions are spatial coordinates that indicate the space or positions, whereas the amplitude of this function is nothing but the grayscale or the intensity value. And both the things are very important. Whatever operation is performed over digital image, everything is performed on these two values. Therefore, digital image is important to understand. Then the next thing is processing, digital image processing. Now something is happening over digital image. So when we talk about digital image processing, it is broadly divided into three types. One is low level processing. Next one is middle level processing, mid level. And the last one is high level processing. You might be thinking that why I am talking about digital image and digital image processing. The main agenda is medical image analysis. As I told you, medical image processing or medical image analysis is nothing but digital image analysis or digital image processing where the digital image is replaced by medical image. And therefore, some basics I want to cover in in beginning 5 to 10 minutes, then we'll go with the medical image analysis. So when we talk about low level processing, you see that in low level processing, what happens? Your input is an image, output is also an image. For example, noise removal in breast cancer, in lung cancer, in MRI. Suppose you get the pictures from your doctor, from any hospital or open source databases. If the image quality is not good, and we try to analyze that image, our analysis won't be proper and appropriate until the image quality is good. Because if image quality is not proper, the details of the image, fine details of the image, which you are trying to analyze and trying to get certain conclusion out of the image, won't be appropriate. So that's the example where the input is image. After removing certain amount of noise, mostly in medical images, speckle noise is very popular noise. There are many other different types of noise. So some speckle is present in medical image. Let's remove it. Output is still an image. So this is called as low level processing. What is mid level processing? Where the input is image, output is attributes. For example, all biometrics and object recognition. If you think about your Aadhaar is a brilliant example of multimodal biometrics in India. In every smartphone you have biometric system. When you put your fingerprint, it authenticates you who you are. But in the beginning, when you buy a new phone, what do? You register your fingerprint. So the moment you register, all your fingerprint images are not stored in the database. Rather, some attributes or features are extracted, and those attributes are stored in the form of template, what we call template in biometrics. And while testing, authenticating, the entire database, template database, is matched against what is being tested. So the object recognition biometrics are the examples of mid-level processing where input is image, output is attribute or set of attributes. Segmentation. Suppose I'm interested to find extract tumor area inside a brain image, MRI brain image, or lung cancer. I exactly want to extract my tumor area, actual area where tumorous or cancerous elements are present. So what we'll do that we'll try to find some attributes, and based on the attributes, and then we'll try to remove other areas. So in this case, your output is attributes, input is image. Then based on the attributes, some other decision, classification, all these are made as post-processing tasks in medical image processing. Finally, high-level processing. If you look at high-level processing, input is attributes, output is understanding. I think all of you, few months back, must have heard about Vyomyan. Vyomyan is a robotic lady which is going to be launched, by our ISRO, Government of India. So that's the brilliant example of high-level processing. Driverless car, it has a number of attributes all over the surrounding, and it has to take decision. So the output is understanding, certain decision-making capability, where the input is attributes. That is called as high-level processing. All your navigation capabilities are there in all our smartphones. A number of attributes are captured with the help of a number of sensors, the sensors which are there in the smartphone, and it takes you to the destination wherever you want to go. So all navigation, all these type of applications where you have some decision making or understanding comes under high level processing. You may be knowing that an ordinary smartphone has more than 22 sensors. Why I'm talking about sensors? Because when we discuss image processing, medical image processing, sensor plays the most important role. There is one vision called as human vision, human way of understanding and seeing the world. There is a computer vision. And when you compare computer vision and human vision, the biggest factor, the most important factor, which is common in human vision, it's a human eyes, whereas in computer vision, it's a sensor. So in ordinary smartphone, there are more than 22 different sensors for different purposes. So those sensors help the smartphone to get the attributes so that it takes decision and it helps us to navigate. And this block diagram, the next slide, is, it just gives you a general idea of medical image processing. In any typical medical image processing flow, what happens? You acquire the image from an image acquisition system. The image which we acquire is the raw data. Raw data, most of the time, is not appropriate and suitable, which can be subjected to further processing and applications of our work, and therefore it has to be sent to some pre-processing. The pre-processing may be filtering operation or any other suitable operation where the raw data could be converted as the data that is suitable for further processing. And then it is sent to reconstruction, processing, analysis, segmentation, and finally we get some quantitative output. Quantitative output means ultimate aim is to get the image, or is to convert the image in the form of some parameters, some attributes, some features. And those features help human being as well as physician as well as computers in computer aided diagnosis system to better diagnose, to better interpret, and to better explain a digital image and the intricacies inside the digital image. The things, or you can say in medical image, abnormalities inside the medical image could be better interpreted on the basis of these number of steps. And all these steps are combined together, called as medical image processing. So in any general medical imaging system, what are the things which are involved? Every medical imaging system concentrates on body regions, some organs, some tissues, some cells. There will be some energy sources and detectors. Image formation and display arrangement will be there. User interface and connection to other systems will be there. I hope you understand all these things. In all modern diagnostic centers and modern hospitals, in one room, the image is captured. For example, CT is captured. Other room, it is automatically transmitted with the help of transmission line, or this computer network. In some other place, the doctor can see the X-ray or CT and can just diagnose the image. Not in a single hospital, the same image can be analyzed with the help of remote health care system, e-healthcare system from a remote place also. So these are the major components in medical imaging system. This diagram just gives you an idea about what I was trying to tell you. Image is converted in the form of data. So when we understand image is an image for human visual system, whereas for computer vision, it understands features, that is data. The data may be qualitative and quantitative, means the features which are extracted from the medical image are either qualitative or quantitative, statistical parameters or some qualitative parameter. For example, we want to improve the quality of medical image, noise is there, then we need to find out some quality parameter like PSNR, picture to signal to noise ratio, contrast to noise ratio, CNR, mean value, standard deviation, these are the values. Whereas the other features are the dimension and area. We'll discuss about in the next slide. So the ultimate aim of this topic is to understand the importance of the topic and then to get exposed with what medical image processing is, and finally to come out with the prominent and emerging applications of the medical image processing. So conventional medical diagnosis system, what are the difficulties? I think all these points are very simple. Everyone will understand. Human expertise is a scarce resource. Therefore, CAD is needed. Everywhere, doctors, especially during this difficult time, there is a scarcity of doctors everywhere. Delhi, Mumbai, everywhere, and the situation has become, very, very complex and critical. But still, our all warriors are doing great job. But this is a scarce resource, so there the CAD system can help. Human gets tired, forget, but CAD-based system will not have this difficulty. Humans can be inconsistent in their daily day-to-day decisions over the same set of data. Again and again, they will see the data. They may, give some different decision, but computer will not do based on the features which are subjected to some computing and some processing. Human can lie, die, and hide. Then finally, there is a screen challenge. Screening challenges. Screening challenges are the image interpretation is very complex, high volume of data, small viewing time. Now see that thousands of cases are coming, and the persons who are testing this, trying to find out with the help of what microns level of the virus is there, they have high volume of data, and the viewing time is very small. So these are the difficulties, and these difficulties are addressed to great extent by the system what we call as computer aided diagnosis system. This interesting diagram tells us about CAD in radiologists. When the radiologist gives a diagnosis, some area of the medical image can be oversight. But when you combine with CAD, still some area can be missed. But when you combine radiologist and CAD, that is computer aided diagnosis, the effective area which is detected and diagnosed, it is improved. That area gets increased. So this is the further description about CAD. CAD is a combination of, it's nothing but it includes all dimensions. It's an art, it's a science, it's engineering. It also includes human dimensions. And CAD can diagnose, it can monitor, it can interpret, it can plan, it can instruct, it can clarify, and it can learn also. Based on, suppose, the CAD system has been trained with 10,000 similar cases. Now the new case will come. CAD is empowered that it will just diagnose the new image based on the previous experience using artificial intelligence and suitable machine learning algorithms. So CAD has all these capabilities. CAD helps in visualization, detection. We can, we can see the tumor or affected area in a better way. We can detect the abnormality or abnormal areas inside the medical image. Then the localization and segmentation. I mean, where exactly is the tumor? Where exactly is the affected area? That could be highlighted. That can be highlighted. And lastly, after detecting the abnormality, the classification can be also can be done. Likelihood of abnormality, whether it is malignant or benign. What is malignant and benign? Malignant tissues and cancerous elements are dangerous. Benign elements can be ignored. Let us understand with the help of some examples in the coming slides. Now, when we talk about medical image processing, we also are required to know about what different types of medical images are. These medical images are called as medical image modalities, and there are now different types of medical image modalities are there. Biomedical image modalities are there: MRI, CT, X-ray, right, fMRI, PET, mammogram. There are ultrasound. There are different types of medical image modalities, and all those modalities are used as images in medical image processing. For example, CT. CT it uses X-rays as ionizing radiation to acquire images for examining tissues such as bones and calcifications, whereas MRI uses non-ionizing radiofrequency signals to acquire its images and best suited for non-calcified tissues. When there is no calcium deposit, but still cancerous things are there, the MRI, especially MRI, is generally therefore used for the brain tumor and the brain cancer, something like that. So these are the modalities. This picture gives an overview. This picture is a real-time picture which I have taken from my physician who was helping us in early detection of breast cancer. So all these modern diagnostic systems in the CAD system, they are doing the same thing what we researchers are doing. They can find out where is the water, right? Which area water is there, which area some other deposit is there inside the ultrasound. Every analysis can be, or every analysis is being done effectively with the help of machine learning and computer aided diagnosis system. So this is the power of, this is the motivation behind medical image processing. So when I'm planning to talk about some applications, before I discuss about some applications, important applications, I will highlight more about some breast cancer, more about breast cancer in just 3-4 slides, because one of my scholar got his PhD in this area, and that work was very much appreciated by the physicians. We validated the work and he got good publications as well. So when we talk about breast cancer, as I was talking about, there are different medical image modalities. For detection of breast cancer, the medical image modality is called as mammogram, and the technique is called as mammography. Right? This Siemens system of image acquiring we took from our own doctor, our own physician. So mammogram is an X-ray. Mammogram is also an X-ray of breast tissues used for detection of changes in breast tissues or calcifications. Calcifications are nothing but calcium deposits, tiny calcium deposits. So abnormal tissues are generally dense white. If you can see this picture, generally the tissues which are abnormal are dense white. So this is how one can make out that there is something wrong, there is some abnormality, there might be some abnormality inside the image. But what is the role of medical image analysis? What is the role of medical image processing? To find out whether these tissues, whether these white areas are truly cancerous areas or not. If they are cancerous areas, if these areas are having some cancer, present inside or in some portion of medical image, how much area, what is the dimension of the tumor, all these are being done by the system called as medical image analysis or medical image processing. So this I was trying to tell you, in all cancer, there are two elements, malignant and benign. And you can look at these two pictures. In both the picture, malignant as well as benign, white areas are there, white portions are there. So as we have discussed that calcium deposits are white, regions that tells the likelihood of cancer, likelihood of tumor. But the malignant are only to be considered and benign elements can be ignored. So what is the difference between benign and malignant? In this slide, only we can understand. In case of malignant tissues, you can see that there are some abnormalities, non-uniform structures. Whereas in benign cases, white spots are there, but they are uniform. They are dense, but they are uniform. So wherever there is more non-uniformity, there is a likelihood, there is a possibility that that may be cancerous or some abnormality inside the medical image. For example, in case of the breast cancer, with the help of mammograms, we analyze. There are difficult cases and simple cases, easier cases. The difficult cases are the breast of younger women contain more glands and ligaments, which result dense breast tissues, and therefore it's very, very difficult because the fibroglandular tissues, white areas, may hide the tumor. If more glands, more tissues are there, more fibroglandular tissues are there, that may hide the actual tumor area. And therefore, early detection of breast cancer, the breast cancer detection in young girls and young women is very, very difficult thing. It's a difficult case. But and I want to tell you, this is also, this is in the entire world nowadays, there are surveys. It has been reported in different surveys. It is considered as third leading cause of death among women in the world, that is breast cancer. What is easier case? You can see here, you can clearly make out from this picture. There are abnormalities, but the tissues can be, with age, breast tissues become fattier and has less number of glands. And cancer is therefore relatively easy to detect in this type of breast tissues. So this is easier case. So what are the problems in the breast cancer detection or the image processing of mammograms? If the correct positioning of breast is not there during the image acquisition system, underexposure of images, these are the common problems in all image processing. If the exposure of light is not properly given, when you are capturing the image, that would create difficulty because the image quality, blur, some darkness will be introduced in the image and you won't be able to highlight, you won't be able to detect your tumor or the cancerous area. Blur, speckle noise, fatty breast, as I told you in the case of old women, smaller malignancies, when the malignancies are very, very small, very, very minute dimensions, then also it's difficult to detect. Yeah, someone wants to say something. I can hear some unmuting. Is there any input someone wants to?
ఫస్ట్ మమ్మీకి తర్వాత నాన్నకి తర్వాత నీకు లాస్ట్ ఇప్పుడు మమ్మీకి.
Can we continue? I hope there are some unmuting happening, right?
Yes, sir. Please continue, sir. The questions will be answered at the end.
So I request all of you to please get unmuted. Otherwise, this lecture gets disturbed. So this is generally the typical flow of image processing. In any image processing or medical image processing, you give the input image, then you denoise, you pre-process. After pre-processing, you subject it to segmentation, and then after segmentation, you again refine it. Then you get a mammographic image, then you extract some features, and then you get some size and other dimensional features, and then you finally classify whether there is a cancer or not. If there is a cancer, how much dimension, how much area is affected. So if you divide the entire medical image processing, there are main three stages which are found in all the medical image processing. Number one is pre-processing, next is segmentation stage, and the last one is post-processing stage. Pre-processing, a number of filtering, number of image enhancement methods are used. We will not discuss here, we will not highlight here. These are the different names: low pass filtering, high pass filtering, histogram equalization, contrast enhancement, local histogram equalization, global histogram equalization, gray level clustering. All these are the methods, and there are many more. In image processing, what is biggest challenge, I want to tell you, there is no robust method for anything. The moment you implement something today, tomorrow someone will come, come out with something new in some modified form. So therefore, there are different methods, and this is one comparison. There is some problem in some method. For example, in this method, blurring and ringing effect is there. In all low pass filtering, blurring is a common problem. So in the similar manner, out of pre-processing methods, we have to choose an appropriate method that can improve the quality of the image, so that the qualitative parameters, quantitative parameters, and most importantly, feature extraction becomes easier. The main aim of applying pre-processing is to make the feature extraction much efficient and easier, so that appropriate features could be extracted and could be used for the subsequent stages. Then comes segmentation. There are different methods of segmentation: k-means, thresholding, adaptive methods. These are used. So segmentations and pre-processing methods are mainly used in the case of breast cancer detection or any other cancer detection or any other detection method of abnormality inside the medical image. Now let's talk very briefly about post-processing and challenges. I was talking about features, selection of features. The features may be qualitative, quantitative. Qualitative like SNR, PSNR, MSE, entropy. And you can understand from this diagram that mean value, variance value, skewness, Euclidean distance, perimeter, major axis, minor axis. These are the parameters, these are the features which are used in post-processing to find out what is the dimension of tumor, what is the dimension of abnormality, what is the dimension of cancerous element, what is the structure of cancerous element, how does it look like. All these are performed very easily with the help of choosing appropriate features which are used, and the analysis is done. Then comes when we want to evaluate the performance of CAD, that is computer aided diagnosis system. There are some evaluation parameters. If you search, if you study a number of literature on CAD, you will find these parameters very common. How many true positive cases are there? True positive means you thought it is malignant, but actually it is malignant. True negative, If there is no detection of abnormality in healthy person, a case where no symptoms were found truly. So you can understand what is true negative, what is true positive, what is false positive. And on these basis, we can calculate sensitivity, specificity, accuracy, precision, and many more. As I told you, if you read the most popular book of image processing authored by Gonzalez, that book admits that there is no robust theory in image processing. So whatever you think is giving you better result, how do you find your result? How do you check your result is better? You have to validate your work with some recent and important contribution in the same area. Then only you can say that yes, your work, your method is outperforming. Then there are challenges in CAD. What are the major challenges in CAD? Large number of training samples, what we sometimes call as dimensionality problem. So dimensionality problem is there, variation in nodule dimension and boundaries, different types of image acquisition parameters, clinical evaluation, observer performance studies require. This is the very difficult thing, the last point. It requires collaboration with medical experts or hospitals. So if you approach to any hospital, if you approach to any physician that you want to do some work on cancer, you want to do some work on some medical image analysis and the automated detection system or diagnosis system, most of the people won't cooperate. But these days, there are many hospitals, the modern diagnostic centers where they are coming up with the research, they are coming with the researchers, and they are also interested in doing research to augment their diagnosis result. So, but it's a difficult thing. And therefore, most of the researchers are performing over the open, data sets available. These are I was trying to tell you, malignant and benign masses. If you go towards benign area, masses are nothing but the small elements, the tissues and cells which we get in the form of abnormality are called as masses. That masses constitute or contribute in the form of cancer or abnormality. So if you see the structure, if you go towards this side, you find that round, then oval, and then from this side, if you go stellate. So if you move towards malignant, you find there are more non-uniformity. And if you go towards benign, there are some uniform structures. So wherever there is more non-uniformity, non-structure, non-uniform structures, then it's malignant. Malignancy is there, otherwise benign. So benign cases could be ignored, whereas malignant are very dangerous, need to be detected, and it has to be recommended for further diagnosis and treatment. And the cancer stage can be also determined, whether mass can be assessed or not, what is the dimension, 2 centimeter, 2 to 5 centimeter, more than 5 centimeter. And accordingly, you can also determine at what stage your cancer is. Let me tell you, in case of early detection of cancer, the features, the calcifications which are highlighted are not very much visible by the physicians or radiologists. But if you subject those images in your computer-based algorithms or machine learning methods, you will find something which is actually cancerous present there. So this is what is called as early detection of cancer. And you can exactly predict and determine at what stage the cancer is present based on the dimensions and the analysis. So this is also the part of post-processing. So the third part, see, this topic is a very broad topic, and it's very difficult to justify the broad topic in just 60 minutes. So the last topic, the last part of the presentation is few important applications. I will try to complete in next 20 to 25 minutes. So let's begin with the first application, which is health informatics. It's an emerging application of medical image analysis. Health informatics. People are talking about 5G and health internet of things. People are talking about everything on the mobile phone. They want to give their blood sample somewhere at the home, and through mobile phone only, they want to get their test result back. So these are all possible. These are happening. These are the areas which are under health informatics. It covers healthcare, it kills health IoT, and all these things. So increasing patient expectation, education, increasing number of litigations, transparent processes, clinical governance, audit, all are part of health informatics. You want any information about any patient 16 years back, some person was admitted in a hospital. You are interested in clinical audit, you are interested in clinical governance system. All these are happening with the help of medical image, processing. It is also known as medical informatics that deals with methods or devices used for acquiring, storing, retrieving, or using information in healthcare sector. You can see these three pictures, and it's very simple to make out what the health informatics is. This is even interesting slide where you can find out the use of handheld or portable devices to assist the healthcare provider with the data entry or medical decision. This is the part of medical image processing or the analysis. mHealth, that is mobile health, is a developing technology in the health of in the area of health informatics. So this is an emerging application of medical image analysis. One can ask that we are talking about an overview of medical image analysis, but we are not focusing on any enhancement method, any segmentation method, or any post-processing method. As I've already told you, there are no robust methods for all these methods. If you are interested to work on segmentation, you have to study, you have to extensively study the current literature, and that to high quality literature, and to find out what the major challenges are there, and accordingly you have to propose a new method. So rather than talking on all the general purpose stages, let's just have an overview and the importance of the topic so that some of you can take this as the research area. Another application is CBMIR, that is content based medical image retrieval. Image retrieval is a common area in image processing. So content based medical image retrieval, where based on content or based on features, any information about any person or any patient who was admitted, you can get from anywhere you want, where the hospital was, where the person was admitted, and all the details could be extracted. This is an emerging application, and especially this age where hospitals are going for automation, hospitals are going for all, they are having huge databases, they have database support and everything, they have data centers. So one can find out all the details with the help of this is the CBMIR. The next emerging application where I wanted to give some more time, and I reserved some 15 minutes for this area, is the area where we are calling we call it a brain-computer interface. So brain-computer interface is an area where the medical image analysis plays very, very important role, especially during COVID or difficult time. People are undergoing with a lot of psychological difficulties and other problems. So there, the analysis of brain signal and psychological or other types of studies of the brain and the impact of different parameters over the brain of human being is very important. And this is one area called as brain-computer interface, where you get the brain signals. You can look at the picture, EEG signals. EEG signals are the brain signals. There are different types of brain signals. EEG is one of them, which are nothing but when we think whatever activities our brain is involved, it always generates, some electrical signals. And those electrical activities are recorded in the form of EEG. And those EEGs are captured in computers. We extract the features, then we classify, and the decision can be made. And then the different devices can be operated with the help of your brain signals. So the brain signals are received by the computer. Computer uses machine learning, and then computer takes decisions. So in other ways, your brain signals are actually generating the commands. And I was talking about Vyomyan or robotics or driverless car. That's the area where these emerging applications are there. So in BCI, brain-computer interface, you can record the signal, then pre-process the signal, then you extract the features, then you subject to the classification, and accordingly, you can have feedback mechanism also. BCI, that is brain-computer interface, acquires brain signals. I was explaining you, analyze them, translate them into commands, and generate some output signals for different decision making. The BCI may be invasive, semi-invasive, non-invasive. And the main purpose of using BCI to find, the different activities of brain, attention, memory, ability for judgment, ability for evaluation, reasoning skill, computational capability, problem solving, decision making, comprehension skill. All these are, believe me, all these are, happening. One can assess all these abilities of human brain with the help of the brain signals which we acquire in the form of EEG. This is what is the interesting diagram. Cognitive ability of human brain. The cognitive ability means the ability for attention, ability for planning, ability for reasoning, ability for problem solving, and many more. These all abilities are being assessed these days with the help of brain signal analysis. And brain signal, EEG signal, generally we call it as a biomedical signal, but biomedical signal is an example of medical signal. So fMRI is also the modality through which we capture or we acquire the brain signal. So what I'm trying to say that BCI, cognitive assessment or cognitive ability assessment of human brain are the areas where the biomedical signal or the medical signal play important role. We extract, we acquire the images, we extract the features, and then we try to classify what activities are going on inside the brain. Is there any sleep disorder? Is there any type of disorder in the brain? All these analyses are taking place with the help of biomedical signal processing and application. So biomedical signal processing is an emerging application area of medical image analysis these days. A lot of research is going on. But if you search the cognitive ability based research, you will still find limited amount of research. This is one, the diagram of brain. You can find that it has different areas. Suppose this area, temporal lobe, smell is detected in this area. Auditory association area is detected here. Hearing capability is here. So what I'm trying to make a point, visual capability is here, occipital lobe. The brain, the entire, the area of the brain, different parts have different capabilities. And all the parts of your human brain, because we know that there are billions of neurons inside, and each neuron is generating something. It is firing something, right? It is reported that 10 to the power 15 or more number of neurons are there, and all those neurons are structured in layers, and artificially we call in computer as artificial neural network. So the point is, the brain has billions of neurons, those neurons getting activated, generating some electrical signals, and those signals are recorded in the form of EEG. As you can see that smell is other area, speech capability is another area. So all different areas emit different types of electrical patterns, and one can easily make out the different capabilities of human brain. So therefore I included that diagram. EEG recording is it may be invasive or non-invasive. Let me not talk much about that. There are different systems where a number of electrodes are placed over the scalp, and the EEG signal is recorded. And then EEG signal is obtained, and once we get the EEG signal, we stored inside the computer. What becomes very important? The next task is the task which is common in medical image processing is signal processing or computing task. When we talk about computing includes signal acquisition, processing methods, machine learning methods, and optimization methods. That is techniques. So when we talk about signal acquisition, especially in case of EEG signal recording, because when we discuss about image or signal acquisition may be the common topic in all medical image modalities. In case of EEG signal, there are standards, like there is a device BCI 2000 EEG cap device. It has 64 number of channels. It has 10 to 20 standard measurement electrodes. And there are different systems, 10, 20 systems for image acquisition. Why I am taking some time here, image acquisition or medical image acquisition is also an area where a lot of research scope is there. For example, if sampling rate is not proper, signal to noise ratio is not proper, attenuated noise is there, power line interference is there. You are recording EEG signal. I think you all know that EEG signals are having very, very low frequency. But the power line, that is power cable, which is connected to capture, has very high frequency. But sometimes this power line interference also attenuates your signal. It creates unwanted effect in the signal acquired, that is signal captured. So in signal acquisition, a lot of things, a lot of issues are there, challenges are there, which are need to be dealt with, and a lot of research scope is there where one can do the research. And then we go for signal processing, for pre-processing, for improving the quality, for removing the artifact, for removing for example, when you are capturing EEG signal, eye blinking is there. You are thinking something, eyes are blinking, you are having movements of your body's hands and all that. All these movements, all these your eye blinkings affect the signals which are generated by the brain. And therefore, this raw signal which is received as the EEG requires to be sent to different signal processing. Signal processing may be any filtering method or statistical techniques. I just want to make a point. After acquiring the image, you need to subject to signal processing. Which is the most appropriate is a matter of discussion, is a matter of study. One can make out which method is the ultimate method now. It can be done only on the basis of extensive literature survey. Then we go for feature extraction. We extract features. The features may be wavelet coefficients, power spectral density, entropy, statistical parameters, time domain features, amplitude and energy. When we are talking about brain signals, different waves we get from the brain signal in the form of EEG signal. So time domain features are also there. We can measure the amplitude, we can measure the energy. When we can calculate the energy, we can also calculate the power spectral density. And these are the features. Why these features are important? These features can help us in differentiating between the different waves which are coming from different parts of the brain. And that too during different activities where the brain is engaged. In case the person is sad, in case the person is happy, in case the person is in different mood, and accordingly the signals vary. When the signals change, these features also change. And abnormality, the changes could be compared with normal cases, and one can find out that what abnormalities, what are the changes which are reported can help to find out the difficulty with which the person is undergoing can be made. Then comes machine learning. Machine learning is the important topic in all modern applications where all computing tasks, all advancements are incomplete or nothing without machine learning, that is appropriate machine learning. And these days, everyone is talking about deep learning. Deep learning is generally used in a task like where the number of attributes are there, huge number of images are there, huge, especially in video processing and image processing, deep learning is recommended. Because see, when you have extremely or huge number of images, huge dimension of database, then if you use ordinary machine learning, ordinary neural network, the processing time, the computation time becomes huge, and therefore deep learning is the answer. We will not discuss here about what deep learning is. We know that how deep learning helps. It can have huge number of hidden layers, and the computation task still remains low, and then there are many other benefits with respect to the ordinary neural network. Then comes optimization techniques. We want to improve the performance of existing method. Then suitable method can be chosen, suitable method can be used, and the performance can be improved. Probably this is the last slide before thanks. I planned it for 60 minutes. I have been little fast. I wanted to cover the all agenda. I wanted to give an overview of what I just wanted to give an introduction of medical image processing and wanted to conclude with a very emerging area of or application of medical image processing. So what are the issues? What are the challenges? The challenges are, as I told you, artifacts. Artifacts means when the artifacts may be due to movement of eyes, eye blinkings. When you are in case of EEG, it may happen with any case. When you are capturing your lung cancer image, and some other disturbances are there, some other noise interferences are there that may cause some artifact. Noise may be there. When you are transferring through some cable, you are using some signal acquisition system, a lot of electronic conditioning systems are there, electronic conditioning circuits are there, components are there. All those components also contribute or introduce some amount of noise. So that's a challenge. If the picture quality is not good, if the image quality is not good, then your analysis will fail. So this is one of the major challenge. Second is implantation of electrodes. As I was telling about capturing the EEG signal, a number of electrodes are placed over the skull, but where to place, what is the exact position of that electrode it's a very important thing. If you implant or if you place electrode at wrong position, the entire capturing or your EEG signals or any other signal, even if you are recording ECG signals, and you don't put your electrodes at proper position, the quality or the image won't be appropriate. High dimensionality of data and large number of features. I was talking about this thing just 10 minutes ago. Dimensionality is a big problem. Information transfer rate, selection of channels, how many channels are appropriately to be chosen so that you get the more information. If you choose more number of channels, if you choose more number of electrodes, dimensionality increases. Because when you choose more number of electrodes over your scalp, you will get more amount of information. There may be repetition also. So it increases dimensionality. But if you want more finer details, you want to place more number of electrodes. But if you want to do that, it may have another consequences. Then variation between different individuals. If you record same medical image modality from one person to other person, both of them are suffering with same problem, same difficulty, medical diseases, but there will be variation, there will be possibilities of variations in the values of features, in values of different classified outputs. So these are the challenges, but still these challenges are only being researched upon, what we call as the research in the area of medical image processing. Then difficulty in obtaining precise and accurate results, because this is in context with EEG and brain signal, because brain is very sensitive and brain is very complex. So in order to understand brain itself is a complex thing, but yes, the research is going on. So I would say as my concluding remark that medical image processing is a common area that is being used for lung cancer detection, for pancreas analysis, for is there any problem in your knee joints. All these are the common areas where people are doing research, but there are some emerging areas where people are working with healthcare IoT, medical diagnosis, modern medical diagnosis system, brain computer interface, human computer interface, where the medical images or biomedical images are being captured, are being acquired and interpreted, and some decision or appropriate decision or some conclusion or classification about the disease or about the abnormality or about the mental disorder or whatever is being made, is the emerging area. So this is all from my side. I promise that I'll conclude by in 60 minutes. So thank you so much for attending this lecture with